I want to start by saying how important I think this session is, and I want to tell you I think it's important because there's a lot we can do. We don't have to wait for national governments. We don't have to wait for international community to act. We have to act. And I'm sitting here with a number of colleagues who in their own jurisdictions have taken action. Governor Gregoire has taken direct action in her state. Governor Schwarzenegger, who's not with us this afternoon, has certainly taken action in his state. And the important thing that they did from the outset was they welcomed others to join their alliance. It's an alliance for action, not an alliance for more brochures, not an alliance for more studies, an alliance to actually get on with the stuff we know we've got to do. And I can tell you, when we started, I want to take my hat off to Diane Wittenberg and the Climate Registry. I think that one of the critical things for all of us, and if you listen to the conversations at this meeting here, this COP15 meeting, there's a lot of challenge about building trust. Trust across around the globe, but it's trust across our countries and on our continents as well. The Climate Registry allows us to have a common means of measuring. We can measure, we can see how we're doing, we can follow it through. Diane and her team have done a great job, so I want to say thanks for giving us that very important tool for evaluation of our progress. I can tell you, when I first met with Governor Gregoire and Governor Schwarzenegger, and we talked about the potential for developing a cap-and-trade system under the Western Climate Initiative. We tend to, I don't want this to sound the wrong way, but I'm going to say it, so hopefully you'll get what I mean. We tend to belittle states and provinces. So I want to tell you, just to give you an idea of what's happened as a result of the work where states and provinces are working together to say we can add and we can add and we can add around this alliance for action. We started building the cap-and-trade system in Canada. British Columbia, Manitoba, Ontario, and Quebec are members of actually members of the Western Climate Initiative. It's one of the first times I can honestly say that Quebec has felt like they're a part of the West, so that's very good. It's nice. It's very, very good to have you that new geography happening. But let me point this out to you. If you take the economies that right now are working on a cap-and-trade system based on the Western Climate Initiative undertakings we've got so far, it represents an economy of $3.6 trillion. That would be the 5th largest economy in the world. We don't call ourselves one country, but we are one economy if we're working together and building on that cap-and-trade initiative. We build larger markets, we build more effectiveness and efficiency and reducing carbon. All of those are important, and the important thing to recognize, as Governor Gregoire mentioned, is we're ready to migrate and to bring in the northeast of the United States. We're ready to bring in the Western governors. Premier Charest and I and Governor Schwarzenegger are members of what's called the International Climate Action Partnership. We're ready to try and assure that our cap-and-trade system can be combined with the European Union's cap-and-trade system. That's happening because we weren't waiting. I think we all know what happens when you wait. In my country alone, with our 10 provinces, I can tell you we're far happier when we're actually taking steps ourselves and waiting for our federal government to figure out where to go next. We usually know where we want them to go. They just haven't figured that out yet. We are working to show that here, I think, in terms of the initiatives we've undertaken. We're going to continue to do that as we build our cap-and-trade initiative. I think it's also important that when you have a federal jurisdiction that you can take different approaches. So we have a legislative greenhouse gas reduction target of 33% by 2020. We also have interim targets. We're 6% by 2012, 16% by 2016. So we can measure our progress and make sure we adjust our activities if we have to do more. Second thing that we've done is we have said 90% of all of our energy in British Columbia is going to be clean energy. We're very fortunate. We've got a very rich hydro resource. We also have a rich wind resource, which we are tapping into. We have a very rich bioenergy resource. And if we're going to truly look at the opportunities that are in front of us to solve this challenge of reducing our greenhouse gases, we have to share our clean energies up and down, east and west, north and south, so that we can reduce the carbon input that other people have as they utilize their energy activities. So some have called us the Saudi Arabia of biomass. We think we are. We think there's great opportunities there. We intend to pursue those. We intend to pursue them in concert, again, build on the marketplaces that we've got. We also have, by 2010, next year, We will be carbon neutral in government. Our whole government will be carbon neutral. We have initiated with our municipalities that by 2012 they will be carbon neutral. Actually, to be fair, it's 176 out of 186 municipalities, local and regional governments that have agreed to that. We believe all of them will have agreed to that by 2012. All of those things are critical undertakings from our perspective that we think reinforce, one step reinforces another and reinforces another. We also believe that it's critically important that as we develop our new energy resources, frankly, virtually all of our new energy in British Columbia is clean energy. It is either zero carbon emissions or no carbon emissions whatsoever. That's what's really important as we move ahead, that we want to continue to build on that. And that helps not just British Columbia, but it helps us across the country. It is important, I think, as we think about what we're trying to accomplish here, as Governor Schwarzenegger mentioned this afternoon. What if they're not successful here? If they're not successful here, that means we're all going to have to do more. And we're going to have to be more explicit, and we're going to have to lead by example in terms of what we can accomplish. I know with the colleagues that we have across the board, whether it's the leadership that has been shown by California, where Canadian provinces have adopted California tailpipe emission standards, whether it's all adapting to the Climate Registry, every tool that we use, as we learn from one another and we put them in each other's hands, we work, I think, and we make progress towards our destination, which is a low-carbon economy. If we can imagine it, we can do it. Sometimes you learn by doing it in small jurisdictions to start and sharing that across the board. I think what's really important is we have to take action. We're trying to take action in British Columbia. We have the first revenue-neutral carbon tax in North America. I think it could be the first revenue-neutral carbon tax anywhere. And what that really says is, yes, we put a price on carbon, we're putting a price on something that's not good, and we're using all of those resources to reduce income tax, corporate income tax, personal income tax, and small business tax. And that actually, I think, sends the right kinds of messages we need to have the private sector and individuals move forward. Finally, I'd say this: the most important thing that we can say as government is we have to give people the tools that they need to make the right choices for themselves. Only if all of us decide we're going to be part of this, not governments, all of us as individuals, are we going to be truly successful. There are lots of problems in the world, and most of those problems can be solved when the billions of people in the world are actually helping to be part of the solution. You're being part of the solution. Thank you for being here. We'll keep working. As we keep working together, I think we'll surprise ourselves with the progress that we can make by keeping our eye on the ball and reaching higher, acting faster, but being direct and getting those actions in place as quickly as possible. Thank you very much for the attention.